Angeles now. But I grew up doing poetry in San Francisco, and it's a city that George W. Bush once referred to as the belly of the beast, in terms of the worst possible place of infested liberal scum. And he's quite right about that. I grew up pretty much only around people who shared my viewpoints, the viewpoints of my parents, the aging hippies who'd come to San Francisco, settled down, become less hippie-ish, but still stayed left of center. And that's what my folks are like. And that's not an exaggeration. Like, San Francisco really is a town that was booming in the mid to late 60s, and then a lot of those folks came out during that era, and then stuck around and then had kids my age. And so we grew up with these extremely liberal, very permissive parents, and my friends and my peers started doing poetry in that crucible and that viewpoint. And in some ways it was really great because, politics aside, it was an extremely supportive and loving community, and one where I got a ton of positive reinforcement, where at an age that if you don't get positive reinforcement, you just quit and you don't think that you can amount to anything. So having people cheering for you is really, really great and gives you the confidence to stick with it. But the flip side of that is politically, when people like me, 15-year-olds, cute little teenagers, got up on stage and we started speaking our mind, sometimes with opinions that were spoon-fed to us, the audience would just clap because we were affirming what they already believed. And so we could do stuff like I could get up on stage in 2003 at a poetry slam and say, "Fuck Bush," and the crowd would explode and go wild. And that's not an exaggeration, and people, I think it's to the detriment of the poetry movement, because now people associate spoken word poetry with a certain ideology instead of with just the idea of communicating with people. And I think it's really hurt it, because there's no reason that spoken word can't house everybody's different viewpoints and be a vehicle for conversation. And my set's gotten less political over the years, but I think it's important for people to not only think of themselves as the nucleus of the universe, because there's 6 billion of us on the planet, and it goes back to what I'm saying about hip-hop, even though it's sarcastic. It's like, there's billions of people on the planet. The idea that one person can know that they're the best when there's literally billions of other people whose viewpoints they haven't heard and will never hear in their lifetime, it's cocky and it doesn't make logical sense. So in politics, I get really frustrated when people get branded and vilified for flip-flopping, and the idea that it's evil for someone's opinion to evolve and to grow, when I wouldn't want someone to represent me if they weren't responding to the changing factors of the world and letting people's opinions influence them. So that's kind of my spiel. I want to do another poem with Bob in it that's more about love than a rift between us. I want to